Hi, it's Elaine, and welcome back to another Homespa Beauty podcast. Today is a request, and it's focused on a topic that a lot of us have either experienced or always experience: super sensitive skin, also called hypersensitive skin. So it's ideas how to look after a really delicate skin, and it can be something that maybe you just always have to look out for because your skin just reacts so easily. Or it could be caused by a change in your circumstances. Maybe you're going through something. It could be stress, it could be pregnancy, sometimes it's medication or hormones. There are so many different reasons. So let's have a chat about how to treat and ideas to tackle hypersensitive skin. As I always point out at the beginning of every chat, I'm not a doctor and this isn't medical advice. It's just a nice relaxing chat and it's some suggestions and some ideas. Now, if you do think that you need some medical advice, then please go to your doctor and take advice from them. But with super sensitive skin, it is such a common issue and so many of us deal with it on a daily basis. We've got products that can irritate us that we've tried out that are new. We might have products that we've used for many years and all of a sudden they just start irritating. It could be that you've been using a product and all of a sudden it's just one patch of skin that becomes sensitive. Or it could be that your skin overall is always extremely sensitive. Now, an example for me is my skin really doesn't like perfumes. It needs a product that is gentle, ideally fragrance-free, but that doesn't mean that I don't need a product that performs. I've got to have something that actually does what I need it to do. My skin really doesn't like foundation, so I go out of my way to avoid foundation, which is ironic being a makeup artist. So I have got a huge collection of foundations from so many different brands, all different price points, and yet I can't use them myself. There's a mixture of reasons why I feel I can't use it. Sensitivity. I also feel that a lot of the time with foundations, there's quite a lot of ingredients, and within them, you do get a lot of perfumes because they like to make the product smell pleasant. But I think for me, within foundation, more often than not, there's probably one or two ingredients that just do not agree with my skin. And I've never went to the point of trying to figure it out because I'm fortunate that I don't really need foundation. What I do is I just tend to use concealer where it's needed and then maybe some powder foundations or tinted powders, and that does the trick for me. Now, I know what to avoid. I have an absolutely can't touch it list, but that doesn't mean that I get it right every time. And even when I try a new product and everything about it looks as if it's going to be perfect for my hypersensitive skin, sometimes I try it and I still find that I get reactions. But again, you can proceed with caution. You can try a new product and maybe you're not sure if it's going to be sensitive or not, but after a couple of days you find out you're going to be okay. Or the opposite's true. Maybe you try a product and it feels okay for a while, but then it becomes clear after a week that your skin's just not going to get on with it. But it would be good, first of all, to chat about what hypersensitive skin looks like. So the classic identification is it can be red, but not necessarily red all over. It can be itchy, swollen. It can look like a rash. It can sometimes be dry and flaky. It could be bumpy with bumps under the skin, or it could actually be broken out. But the breakouts might actually be irritation breakouts. Sometimes it can actually look like abrasions. But then you can also have dermatitis areas, eczema. Again, it can be patchy. It might feel burning or it might sting, specifically when you put products on and your skin doesn't like it. And you can also get spots because of the sensitivity and your skin just reacting and going into overdrive. Now the list goes on, but with hypersensitive skin, it can also have no visible signs. And out of nowhere, you could find that you get sensitivity, and it could be triggered by products, obviously. It could be triggered by environmental factors. It could be extremes of temperature. So you might know yourself that in the winter, your skin goes very sensitive, or again, it could be in extremes of heat when it's really warm. In the summer, your skin goes very sensitive. You might get blotchy. I know some people that in the winter, they really struggle, that the skin just on the edge of their lips just becomes just very dry with eczema. And there's nothing they can do about it because their skin just becomes very sensitive to that coldness, that extreme of temperature. Your sensitivity could be caused by your working environment. So again, you could be working in a very hot environment such as a kitchen. Can you imagine if you were prone to sensitivity working in a very hot, fast-moving kitchen with all the different heat sources there? That would be prime for triggering your sensitivity. Or it could be tied in with some ongoing or underlying medical conditions. You could have rosacea. You might be on medications that trigger sensitivity. You might even have some medical conditions that you're not aware of. And in those cases, when you really have exercised all your options, that's another time where you would suggest going to your doctor or asking to see a dermatologist. Now, you tend to find, not always, but it's more likely that as you get older, you can become more sensitive. But again, there's a lot of changes that go on in your body, and there are a lot of times in your life when your hormones go into overdrive. Again, babies can have sensitivity, but think about when you hit your teens and your hormones go crazy. Most people's skin definitely changes at that time. You're very lucky if it doesn't, but for most people, their skin really does noticeably change. Likewise, for ladies that hit their menopause, you're fortunate if you don't have any issues, but for many, many people, their skin will start acting differently and doing different things to what you're used to. Likewise for men too, there are definitely times in your life where you might find that your skin has changed, and where it was fine to use certain products, all of a sudden there's sensitivity there. So advice is don't ignore it. Maybe keep a note of it. Even if it's not a diary, just notes in your phone. Just maybe when the flare-ups occur, when the irritation or the itchiness happens, if you're using a product and you've noticed that there's certain times where it feels okay and yet there's certain times when it's not, if you can actually keep notes of this, you can start to build a picture. And you can either use this picture to help yourself, or you can take it to a medical professional. One thing you should do if you haven't already, but hypersensitive skin is definitely an ongoing issue for you, is to check that you don't have a specific skin condition. So sometimes you might think that you just blush easily, but you didn't actually realise that there is an issue there and there is a condition. And maybe you think that you've got hypersensitivity, but it could be something else that's underlying there. I mean, sometimes an example is that sometimes I've had customers and they might say, oh, I've always got quite a ruddy complexion and I'm not too sure why. And then when you do a skin analysis, you can see there's a lot of broken capillaries. So you might ask, have you always had these broken capillaries? And it's nobody's fault that you might not even have considered, or you might not even know that you've got them. You might just see the readiness in your skin. You might not see that there's little broken capillaries there. And sometimes people are using products that are too harsh for them, and they didn't even realise that they had a little underlying skin condition which could be treated, or it's just maybe their skin's more sensitive than they realised, and they've been using products, or they've been sunbathing, or they've been working in harsh conditions and they've not been protecting their skin. So sometimes you might box yourself in as being a certain type of person. Oh, I just blush easily. Oh, it doesn't take much for me to go red. Or whenever there's a bit of heat in the room, my skin just goes bright red. And you've just boxed yourself in and thought that's the way you are. But actually there's a condition there, and someone can help you and give you advice and help you to treat that. So if it's something that you've not really given thought to, but it's ongoing, maybe start to investigate that area and see if there's something there that you just haven't acknowledged. Now, there are many, many more ways that we can look at the skin and do diagnostics, but again, that's up to you to take a look. Maybe sit and have a think, do your own skin analysis in the mirror, or go to a local salon therapist and just have a chat. But some things that you can do for hypersensitive skin is look at your routine. So line up your products. Now, be honest with yourself. How many products have you got? Now, some people don't really use anything and they're just soap and water. If that works for you, that's fine. But if you use soap and water and your skin is clearly sensitive and it's dry and cracked and red and irritated, then that's not working for you. So look at your routine. Do you have minimal products? Do you have too many products? Do you have products from all sorts of brands promising all sorts of things and there's no flow and no consistency in your products? So are you confusing your skin? Are you using products that are too harsh for your skin? Are you using products that are too drying for your skin? So look at your routine. And if you still want to use that routine, then isolate your products. Start using them and thinking about as you use them, does this feel good when I put it on? Does it make my skin feel tight and itchy? Does my skin feel dry after using it? Does my skin start to feel like a mask on my face? Does it hurt? Do I see a difference in my skin tone and texture and not a good difference? So I don't look glowing, I look red, I look irritated, I look blotchy. If it's a yes, that product might not be the right product for your skin. So you might want to discontinue using it and give it to someone who you know would benefit more. But likewise, if you're using the product and you still like how it feels, then you can keep that and that can go on your safe list if you like. Now, new products, or again, if you're using products in your routine and you're really not sure if they're making your skin sensitivity worse, would be to always patch test. Now, the two easiest places to patch test, because you'll see the reaction quickly, is behind the ear or in the crook of the elbow, 24 to 48 hours before you use it. And if you see any redness, if you see any blotchiness or rashing, if it feels itchy, then chances are it's causing you or will cause you an irritation, and don't use it. If you're absolutely fine though and there's no reaction, you're safe to use. But the realities are that anyone can still react to a product at any time. So you could be unlucky and you could try a product and still react even though your patch test was fine. Or as I said before, we don't know why, but our skin chemistry does change, our body changes, and you could be using a product for 10 years and then all of a sudden you develop an allergy to it. These things do happen. So if you're extremely sensitive, you can patch test every product you use, and then when you're using them in isolation, just bear in mind that sometimes your skin reaction does change. Now, this is a big one because in today's world, this is tricky. Don't fall for marketing. Everyone will find the product that suits them, and you definitely need advice. If you really don't know what you're looking for and why you're looking for it, then don't presume because you've read the marketing and it tells you statistics about how many people in a survey or in a clinical test found this, that, or the other. Because you might find when you look at the small details, it could have been 7 people that were tested and 4 out of those 7 people got on with the product and 3 didn't. So don't fall for marketing, do your research. Now, you might discover a product through marketing and then you might research it and think that it is the perfect product and it turns out to be amazing. But likewise, sometimes there is the flavour of the month. Everybody's trying this product. Everybody's saying that they love it. Everybody's posting pictures where they look stunning. But that might not be the right product for you. So don't put your skin on the line if you're extremely sensitive because you think the next big thing is right for you. It might not be. You might have to accept that you're always going to have to pick the product that's very gentle with minimal ingredients for sensitive skin. Influencers always have their place, but just read the small print. Remember, if there's anything about a product being sponsored or a marketing or an ad, then bear in mind that, of course, these people wouldn't tell anything that wasn't anything other than truthful. However, if you aren't too sure about a product, but the influencer is being paid to talk about the product, then chances are you might not be getting the absolute bare facts of the matter. You might find that the elements that they didn't get on with won't be discussed and it'll only be what they did get on with. So by all means, watch influencers, and if there's a product that you're interested in but you're extremely sensitive, then watch the influencers, but then make up your own mind, because you might find that you might not be getting the full story. And if anything's ever told that it's suitable for everyone, then that's very rarely the case, because even if a product is technically suitable for all skin types, us sensitives can still have a reaction to it. So just watch where your marketing and your influence is coming from, and make sure you do your own research. Now remember, if you know that a product isn't meant for your skin, but you really want to try it, ask for a sample. Or even if you need to, go into your local chemist or department store, or sometimes obviously with a sample, it would be difficult to get a patch test if it was online. You really need a sample. But you could go in and you could ask, if they don't do samples, could I have a patch test? So if you really want the foundation of the moment, or you really want to know if a moisturiser or a serum or an eye cream will work for you, but you don't want to buy it because it's too much of an investment, or you're on the fence about whether it's going to work for you or not, then put yourself in a position where you can actually try it without any compromise by asking for a small sample, or just going into, say, the department store and saying, look, I'd like to buy it, but I'm hypersensitive. Is there any chance I could have a patch test? In my experience, the majority of shops will go out of their way to help you. Sometimes online that can be a different matter, but if they've got good customer service, they might be able to offer you suggestions of where you could try if you have to go in store. But I would say that's the best way of testing out if there's a must-try product that you really want to see if you can take, but you're kind of sure that it won't be for you. Patch test. Hypersensitive skin needs to keep the routine simple. Now, you really want to look for products that are free of unnecessarily long ingredient lists. Fragrance is a big one. It's such a big culprit, and quite often it's the fragrance that is enticing people to buy the product because it smells lovely, and that's part of it. How does it smell? How does it feel? But fragrance is such a common irritant. Perfumes, colourings, sometimes oils that are used. Now, sometimes these oils are used in the product and they are absolutely there for benefit. Other times it's oils that are there to help the product perform and to help it apply to the skin. And then there are certain cosmetic alcohols too. Sometimes they are deliberately there to help with the product performance. But these can all irritate a hypersensitive skin. If you really want to find out if you have specific allergies, that's again where you would want to speak to your doctor. Or if you're up for the challenge, you could do your own research and you could strip down that very basic routine. And the most basic routine that you could do is choose a cleanser or some sort of facial cleansing, facial wash product. You don't nowadays really need a toning product, but if you wanted a toning product, a very gentle one, you could add that in. But some sort of cleansing product and a moisturiser is really all you need to get you started. What you would look for is something to add in once you're quite happy with what you've picked. Some sort of gentle exfoliation product. Now you can get your acids. Again, you can pick the relevant acid that's suitable for your skin. And that way you don't have to go down the route of a scrub, because scrubs can so often really irritate a hypersensitive skin. Now what you want to really do is think about an exfoliating mask. And there are so many choices on the market now where you can have a very gentle exfoliating mask that goes on like a cream. And there's absolutely no harshness, there's no irritation, there's no granules. It's like enzyme masks now. They're so effective in what they do. So you'll have your exfoliation, you're adding in your mask element to your routine, but at the very same time, you're not causing anything to the skin that could irritate that sensitivity that's always underlying there. Now, with sensitive skins, it's not just skincare you've got to be aware of. Makeup. As I said earlier, for me, it's definitely foundation. So think about your makeup products. Think about your hair care products. Toothpaste can really irritate the skin. Sodium lauryl sulfate, which is in toothpaste, can irritate a lot of people and they don't realise it. And they wonder why there's redness around the mouth, almost like a ring around the mouth. And it's actually when they're brushing their teeth and the foam is around their mouth and it's irritating the skin. So you might have to think about getting SLS-free products if they could be causing irritation. Household products, even the food and drink that you come into contact with, if you've got hypersensitive skin and you're not completely sure what's triggering it, then have a think about exactly what's in your full routine, even your sun care. You definitely need to have sun protection SPF, but a lot of products can be too dense and too oily, so you might have to look for a brand that protects your skin and doesn't cause irritation. But even back with food, sometimes something as simple as chilies and hot foods can be enough to irritate a hypersensitive skin. And if someone drinks too much alcohol, it can break capillaries. If there's a lot of caffeine, there's so many reasons why hypersensitive skin can be irritated, and it is not just a simple case of putting products on or not putting products on. So you might have to have a look at exactly how your lifestyle is affecting your hypersensitivity. And again, that could also lend itself to allergies, not just products that are irritating. You could actually be allergic to products that are causing your hypersensitivity. Now, finally, just to remember, you must still look after your sensitive skin. It's not a wise idea to say my skin's sensitive, therefore I don't do anything with it. I don't treat it, I don't wash it, I don't moisturise it, I don't put on sun protection. Sensitive skin still needs to be looked after too. It can still be dehydrated. It can still be lacking. It can still need treatments. So look after that skin. Remember, with hydration, you also need to make sure that you're taking in enough fluids yourself and just finding that moisturiser that fits the balance so that it doesn't irritate, but it definitely hydrates. You need to make sure that your sensitive skin is cleaned each day because you're trying to preserve it. Remember, you don't want your skin to become worse. You don't want to develop any more irritations on top of what you've already got. It might take you a while to find that routine, but believe me, if you can just begin the process of figuring out what it is that's irritating you or what it could be that maybe needs the doctor to guide you, then you can easily update and improve your skin routine, and then it becomes something that's just as simple as someone that doesn't have hypersensitivity. But basically, all in all, just remember, it happens to everyone. There can be hormone imbalances at any point that can happen to anyone. There can be reasons why stress possibly in your life has changed your skin. It could be your job. It could be your new routines. There's so many different reasons why you can have hypersensitivity. But as I say, it happens to everyone. Even though it's irritating, it's annoying, and it can get you down, you can definitely manage it and you can definitely see improvements. So if you know this is you, today's the day that you can start figuring out what to do for yourself to make your life a little bit better so that you don't have to put up with this in the same way that you're currently doing. So make today the day. Hopefully these tips have helped. And as always, if you've got any suggestions for podcasts or you'd like to hear more from me, then drop me a line. You can watch the videos on YouTube. And as always, I'll see you again soon.